My name is Mike Gates. I'm the founder and president of a 501c3 charity called Christ Outreach for the Blind. What we do is we take people in wheelchairs and people who are blind hunting and fishing. We have spent several years trying to get all of this in order. We had a camp in Kentucky and we had to sell it because of financial and Colbert and everything else that was going on. So now what we've done is we took the proceeds from that and we're investing it in these kids, and we use every penny to take these kids hunting and fishing. This summer we have 5 charters, and this fall we have one at a ranch, a hunting trip at a ranch, and then we have 2 hunting trips in the the Manistee National Forest. And we're going to take, and we've got all kinds of plans for these guys. When we first started this camp, or when I first went blind is what I should say, I thought my life was over. I didn't think I'd be able to do anything. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to hunt. I wouldn't be able to go fishing. I was afraid I'd fall out of the boat and not know which way was up. And while I was still in the hospital, there was this one deer that came into my stand before I went blind. And it was right at that time of night where it was almost too dark to shoot. And I drew back my bow, and I had this cheap little plastic scope on, and when I went to look through the scope, I couldn't see the deer or the crosshairs. But when I moved my head to the side a little bit, I could see the carrot pile and the deer standing right next to it. So I aimed at the carrot pile, I moved my bow over a little bit, lifted it up a little bit, and I let that arrow fly. And I got that deer. The whole time I was in the hospital, I couldn't get that deer out of my mind. And I started thinking, if I could get a deer to come and stand in one exact spot in the woods, and I could group my arrows in a tight enough group, I could still hunt. Well, I went home and I started nailing boards and stuff up to the aluminum siding on the second floor of my house, and I built this giant tripod and this whole apparatus. And when I first started shooting, I stuck arrows everywhere. I even put one halfway through my neighbor's garage door. We lived in the city. One day the police showed up at my house. They said that I wasn't allowed to do this in the city, and they were friends of mine. They didn't even want to have to tell me, but they did. And anyway, so I had a friend named Bill Voigt, and he let me use his archery store, and we went out there and we practiced, and I shot thousands and thousands and thousands of arrows until I could stick 50 arrows in the size of an orange. Once I got to where I could do that, we went up north and we built a feeder in the shape of a letter J. I climbed up in a tree, put a pallet up there, hooked up a hook and a tripod, practiced until my arrows were going 18 inches back from that opening and 18 inches high. Deer are lazy. They walk up, they look over the bait pile. He won't bend down and pick one up. He walks around to the opening. Now he's standing perfectly broadside to me. He eats a carrot. He's mine every time. Well, opening day came, and I found myself sitting in a tree stand with the guy who shot me. We were best friends. And we had some deer come in, and I ended up getting the shot, and I heard the arrow hit the deer, and it took off and it ran over the hill, and then I heard it roll. It just piled up. And then I realized the other ones, they were blowing and snorting, but they didn't see us. They had no idea where we were. So I put another arrow in my bow, and I got a second shot. I got 2. So I ended up having an awesome hunting season. Well, the next year, the guy that was hunting with me, he couldn't handle it. He was crying pretty hard. He was just so happy for me. And next year I decided I didn't need him, so I went alone. And I sat up in this tree, and I had a deer come in, and I got the shot, and the deer ran over the side of the hill and piled up. And I'm thinking, no way. 3 in 2 years. And then another deer came into the bait pile, and I got that one too. Well, I was pretty mad at God about going blind. I felt like, why me? And even though I was mad, I still prayed all the time. And I was sitting in this tree stand with 2 deer down, and I was praying and thinking, God, I could still do this. And I don't know if it was out loud or in my head, but I heard God say, you know, you could be teaching other kids how to do this. And that's how this whole camp got started. I always felt like he could have given me more than just a sentence, But we picked it up and we ran with it. We bought the camp in Kentucky. Well, we built a camp in Kentucky. Thanks to the churches and all the help we've had over the years, especially Waupun, Wisconsin. Them people over there, they were so faithful. They came every year, no matter what. And we were so grateful. But then when it came time to sell it, when we went out the gate, Lori and I were both crying. We didn't want to leave, but we had no choice. We just couldn't do the work no more. And this whole camp got designed over there. Well, now we took the proceeds from selling that camp, and we take, well, this fall I got 4 quadriplegics going elk hunting, and 1 kid with cerebral palsy going whitetail hunting. Then I got another kid with cerebral palsy going whitetail hunting. I'm going whitetail hunting. And I've got another quadriplegic that's going whitetail hunting with us. We've got 5 charters scheduled for this summer so far. It looks like it's going to turn into 6 for salmon and lake trout and walleyes. And when these guys come, everything's free. We don't charge them for anything. We made enough money off the camp to where now the camp takes care of everything. Takes care of their meals, their transportation, their hunts, and even covers the butcher and the processing. And half of the time we even deliver it to them, as long as they're not. We delivered Isaiah's elk to him last year, and he lives in Louisiana. We couldn't ship an elk. This whole thing started on nothing but a prayer and a dream. I learned something in the very beginning when I first got shot. That a person that goes through something like that or has something like this happen to them when they're 32 years old, the very last thing in the world they're interested in is rehabilitation. They could care less. We are what you would call pre-rehabilitation. I take these guys out, I show them all the things that they can do, all the things that I can do, get them interested in life again. Now they're ready for rehab. We are just so excited about this. We are using this tape as a fundraiser for the camp. Anybody that's interested in donating can contact me at 606-425-7437, or my landline is 231-629-8443. We are extremely thankful to be able to show this to all the people who've been involved. Plus I get to give one of these tapes to everybody who was involved in the hunts. We're so excited about the future. The best part about the whole thing is that when we was in Kentucky, we bush hogged all the food plots, we planted the food plots, we kept the feeders filled, we maintained the stands, we did everything that had to be done to get it ready for these hunts. But now, I call these guys up, I schedule the hunts at a different place where they do the cooking, where they do the cleaning, where they got the feeders filled, where they've got the stands built, so all we have to do is show up. It makes it so much easier on Lori and I. But Lori still does 6 hours a day worth of paperwork. That's unbelievable. We just never get a break. But Albert Einstein said, get a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I got that job. I've got the best job on the planet. I take kids hunting and fishing. My heart really goes out to these guys. God has really blessed this camp, and we are really grateful. I hope you enjoy the film that we're about to show. Most of these are still shots because we didn't have a lot of filming ability, but what we're going to do is this year we're going to have the filming ability, and we're going to take and we're going to tape everything we can, and we're going to add it to this tape. We took 14 people pheasant hunting, blind and in wheelchairs, and we ended up getting 159 birds. Everybody got their elk last year. I think we got 4 elk and 6 whitetails last year. That's amazing. And everybody who went got their animal. So that's a huge praise the Lord for us. Again, if you need to contact me, you've got my number. Thanks for watching.